Hello everyone, welcome to Intellipaat's live webinar on how to become a software engineer in 2022. Today's webinar is conducted by Mr. Shivam. Shivam comes with 12 years of IT experience. He started as an ERP consultant and has been a seasoned data scientist for the last 11 years. Having worked with McKinsey and other Fortune highly ranked MNCs, he is currently working as an ML advisor for one of the leading firms in the world. He has been teaching and mentoring budding data scientists all over the world for the last 10 years. So guys, let's welcome Shivam to this session. Sir, over to you now.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll start now. The agenda for, let's say, for today's session and why we want to discuss this is, this is not the question for you, right? It's the question for everybody who's coming out of either colleges or they are already in there some kind of a job. Everybody wants to look around for other options, right? Everybody wants to everybody wants to make it more realistic, more fun in their life, right? And software engineering looks out to be one of the options. We want to discuss this thing only in the next half an hour. We want to discuss about these things, that what is first of all the job role. We need to understand that, right? What does it requires to become that software engineer? That's the second thing. What are the things that you would require to learn, the skills, the response, and then once you have become there, what are the roles and responsibilities that the expectation that people will have from you, right? What are the expectations that they have from you? And then the fifth one is going to be that what companies are hiring, especially in context of India and international, both we'll talk about them, right? But let's very quickly start from what is the definition of software engineer. If you go and you quickly do a Google, right, you'll get the Wikipedia two-liner says that anybody who's working on developing, let's say, any kind of an electronic form of system, right, that is called as software engineer. But software engineer definition has changed over the world, right? If you would have asked me this question when I was starting in my life, right, like almost 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was simply you would have thought of, let's say, there is something called as mainframe, right? And people would write codes in C, Pascal, Fortran. I started with Fortran there. So these kinds of languages, and you would imagine, that the life there is, let's say, black and white, right? But no, things have changed now, right? Things have changed now. And till today, right, you have multiple things that you can do when you are a software engineer, right? The basic principle is that you're making systems that are solving problems, right? There are multiple problems in the world and you're trying to solve them. Take any biggest problem and you will see that the answer was provided through technology only. And through technology, there is a person who is required to convert or required to make a system. That someone who's making that system is called as software engineer, right? So if I read this line, right, and I'll explain you very precisely what does it mean. But let's say if we read this line, on the most basic level, software engineer design, write, debug, test, and maintain softwares that instruct a computer to accomplish a certain task with saving information, performing calculations, etc. So they are just two use cases that they've written, right? That's exactly what we talked about also, that it is a person who's required to solve a problem by building a system. Now systems can be built. Now most of you might have, let's say, questions that, okay, what are software engineers? They're building websites, right? Or they're making apps, these Android apps, iOS apps. No. Software engineers are not just restricted to making a website or making a mobile application. No, they are doing way ahead of these things, right? Just imagine if you might have heard of something called as Oculus, right? Oculus is one of those things, right? So you can make Oculus apps. Or let's say these days machine learning is that you can become a machine learning engineer, data scientist engineer also, right? You become a little bit more advanced, right? You can become a metaverse star also. So a software engineer, I was just telling that it's not just, making websites and apps, right? There are multiple branches that people are working on. That's the first myth that we will talk about. I take in these sessions and people generally say that, oh no, we are making websites only, we are making mobile apps only. No. You're working in multiple domains, right? Now, the second question that comes up is that what are the domain in which we work? So I would like to tell you this one thing is that software engineering is a technology, right? It's a technique. It's a technique that can solve a problem in any area, So you can be in banking and finance, you can be in marketing and sales, you can be in aerospace also, right? NASA, ISRO, DRDOs, the CERN, they all require software engineers also, right? The answer is also, they also require. So everybody requires a software engineer. Every domain requires a software engineer. And think of this, let's say, software engineering as a vertical, which is supporting everyone. So the first question is that we are making websites and apps. No, you're doing a lot, much more than that. Second thing, are we just working on, let's say, some mainframe systems? No, you're working for banking and finance. You're working for food aggregators. You're working for cab aggregators. You're working for search engine optimizations. You can see multiple things are there that you can work upon, right? The second part is that, if I just come to the second part, right? The second thing that generally most people think is that software engineer and software developer is there is a uh, difference. So the difference is not so much, and I think they're pretty much very similar, but there's a very small difference here, right? When you talk about this, see, a software engineer is somebody who's working on an already developed thing, right? He's so let's say a system is already made and you are there to, let's say, either improve it, upgrade it or maintain it. Whereas a software developer is generally a job post when somebody requires you to build a system from scratch. So let's say you're trying to build a framework from scratch, right? Or a system design from scratch, right? So it's a very small difference. But generally, when you see a job description where people are saying software engineer or developer, it's more of interchangeable. Correct? Very good. Now, what does it take up to become a software engineer? Most of you are thinking that, Shivam, okay, we understand that this is software engineering and this is the kind of, let's say, thing that we will do. But what is it that is required, right? What it is that is required to become a software engineer, right? Or what is that? So I would tell you, see, there are multiple degrees or courses which are already there that you can pursue. The major one being the CS majors that you can do, right? Computer science majors or information technology majors that you can do, and then you can do masters also. That's the next thing. But there are multiple self-taught people also, and fortunately I am one of them. I never did my engineering in computer sciences or information technology. I actually did very opposite. I did it in electronics and communication, but it always fantasizes me, that how these things are going to work, right? How can, let's say, 3 line of code automate the whole process for me? That fantasizes me, and I switched it. And see, I'm not just alone here hanging, right? Almost, you won't believe this number, but almost 60% of the people today in industry do not have a exact software engineering background. They don't have a CS or IT background, right? There are people from different other domains, different other areas, and then they come together and then they work it. So the first myth that people have, that you need to have a formal education or a degree around it, that's actually wrong. You require knowledge, not a degree, to pursue your part there. Correct? Any questions still here? I know this is a very straightforward thing that I say, and multiple people have questions over here. So I'll just take a pause. Any questions till now? Okay, very good. The next part is, okay, what takes up software engineering? So you can see here, you are not just building websites and apps. See, you are making smart refrigerators, smart lights, smart televisions, and not just televisions. The things that are displayed on televisions are also now written by software engineers. You're like, what? Yes, I'm talking about OTT platforms, right? OTT platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, all these platforms are built technologically. So you can think of it that Netflix is not a, a movie sharing, or let's say a content sharing website. It's a technology company which also happens to do that thing. These companies, Netflix and Amazon, are not just now doing, content sharing. Their main focus is tech now, right? They're technology giants now. Facebook or Instagram, they're not just content sharing platforms. They're technology giants. They're working on multiple other areas. And even, okay, what do you think that, let's say, whenever you see your this Instagram thing, right? Whenever you open up, what do you think? That, okay, what is the code there? Simple code, now just open the app and then you watch the videos, right? No, the videos are matched as per your requirements. Now you would say, I have never submitted any requirements. No, you never submitted your requirements intentionally, but unintentionally in your mind, you want to, let's say, see some kind of, let's say, cooking videos, right? Let's say some kind of mushroom baking videos, or let's say somebody is more interested in cat making videos. You unintentionally give those signals to the app. Again, I know most of you are thinking, how do I give signals to the app? No, you give them. Either you play that video multiple times, either you save those videos, you give multiple unintentional, motivations to the app, that I like these kinds of cat videos or dog videos. And the machine, and the app is learning from you. The app is increasing the intelligence of itself by learning you, right? And then the more you stay on the app, that's what it is. Now, what do you think? What is all this that I just told you, right? Matching with your expectation, you're giving unintentional feedback, everybody's capturing it. Who is doing all this stuff? A software engineer in the background, right? So don't just think your life as somebody who's, let's say, there's a dark room and there's a monitor and then you're just typing. No, software engineering is all about solving problems. Together, when you're solving problems, that is called as software engineering. Correct? Okay. So salaries, I know this is what majorly interest people to come to join this thing. And this is, frankly, this is not a bad opinion, right? I mean, to be truthful, I also came into this world because I wanted to, I love this perks that you get, right? The kind of opportunity that I get to work here, the kind of life that I can have, a work-life balance, right? It's much better, right? So let's be truthful, money matters, right? Money matters, and money is a lot in software engineering. Let me tell you, very frankly, money is a lot. It's up to your knowledge how much you can harvest, right? Up to your knowledge how much you can harvest from that field, right? So the stat says here that for less than a minimum year of experience, you get somewhere around 5 lakh rupees. It's just 5 lakh, right? Yeah, 5 lakh rupees on an average. And those with a 5 to 8 years of experience, they get 15 lakhs rupees on an average. Now, 15 lakh rupees, I don't know the exact statistics, but this is a lot, right? This is a huge amount of money that you might not get in some other kind of a, let's say, role that you're working on, right? Non-tech role that you might have worked on. And I'm not claiming to be everything, right? But okay, but this is there. The second most feature that I would not talk about work from home, right? I would talk about, let's say, the perks that I get when you go to office. I'll tell you one thing which is not on the slide is that software engineering, areas are much more areas of fun to work, right? People go there and don't just think that sit around. There are times when we play out, we hang out. My favorite pastime would be, I remember I used to play at TT a lot, table tennis a lot. I would play there. We would have Xbox rooms. And I'm not claiming this thing, but there are tech giants who have, let's say, free lunches for you, free buffets for you, and a multiple type of cuisine foods are there, right? So it's not just that it's offline is one of the perks for you. No, when you go to offices and when you go there, other perks are also waiting for you, right? You get to know to people who are like very, 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 very interesting people, right? I'll tell you, in one of the areas when I work for a management consulting firm, right, I met a Olympian there. This guy had a Olympic gold medal, and then once he retired from his sports, right, he joined the consulting firm, and I worked there. So it's not just about, let's say, those palpable advantages that you get. They're obviously there, but you also get these to network with these high skilled people, right? And believe me, networking is one thing that will take you to the next level in your life, and especially when you're in corporate. Let's talk about the next one, which is remote and work from home possibilities. Software engineering, and especially after COVID, it has shown the world that this is one of the finest jobs that can be worked without going face to face in an office, right? Without traveling to an office and then working, right? You can still work with a laptop and an internet, and with a pretty camera to open up and then have a meetings, right? But software engineering is one of those jobs where companies are also now loving it, and employees are also loving it, that they can work remotely anywhere. Obviously, I am saying for software engineering, I know some of you might ask this question that no, there are some hardware related jobs which require to go offices. Yes, I agree. There are a certain section of departments, and especially in hardware sections, right? This is software engineering. In hardware engineering, when you talk about routers, your IPSs, there you need to be physically, unfortunately, you need to be physically present there. But we're talking about software engineering. So software engineering can almost be done by work from home over there. One of the stats which says here is that even before COVID, work from home was considered normal, and 86% of developers work remotely, sometimes, or one third of their work. This is not so common in India, but in US, I have a lot of my friends who are on a full remote work even before COVID also, right? So they would have their offices set up in their home only, and they would work from their home. So that's the second biggest perk that you get if you don't consider going to offices. Casual work environment, this is, I think, this can be enjoyed anywhere if you have a good team, but I would say yes, that's the regime over here, that people had a notion. I don't know why, but in 1970s, 1980s, the pre internet area, right, people used to be very formal, and you would have a very strict culture in offices, right? But I think when internet came out, internet companies came out, and especially these tech giants, they made this very casual. They've made this very, very, very casual, right? No office bearings. I had once my friend who was in a who worked for a very big company, but it was a manufacturing company, right? And they had these uh, uniforms that they had to wear, and it's not just for, like, uh, it's not just for the down on the pyramid, it's for everyone till top on the pyramid. They had these things. So I think tech industry, tech ecosystem is much more on a lighter pace. They see, the ultimate goal for them is that you do the work, now you do it comfortable, and they've figured this out, that the more comfort you give to the employee, the more productive he or she is, right? So that's what companies are trying to do, and we see this trend now going outside also, but especially in tech, we see a very comfortable and a casual environment, not just in dressing, but let's say in your other lifestyles also, that they have given to you. Again, this point says around, how to get this like time schedule. I would say, see, yes, I agree, it's time, but at certain times when you have deliveries, right, this can burn also. So it's a two-way process, right? See, it's a two-way process. Sometimes I'll tell you my time, right? So my normal life is 9 to 6. That's my normal life, right? But at times of deliveries, delivery, I mean that, let's say when you're shipping it to production and it will go to the end customer, let's say at that particular time, it goes midnight also, right? Or late nights also. But let's say once you've done the release and it is very good and it's fine, I get a day off also for that, right? I get a comp off also for that, and I take a off in between my week. So the point here that I want to establish is that software engineering gives you a lot of flexibility in your life, right? That's the whole point. Now let's come to the most important thing. What is the skills? So we have learned what is software engineering, what does it, what do I have to do, what does it take to do, right? But what is it will take for me to be there, right? Right now you are not at that place and you are dreaming about this place. What is the bridge that you will need to build, right, that you can walk to that dream place, right? And that is where, my friends, it comes up, that you have to learn about, let's say, these software engineering techniques. Now you will say, what is software engineering technique? See, first of all, don't read this thing for a second. Don't read this thing, right? This thing says that, multiple people go to colleges and schools, and those who don't go, they go for boot camps and all those things. No, wait. We have established the fact that, let's say, we cannot go to colleges. We cannot spend, let's say, 4 hours there, 4 years there, or let's say we have passed that age. Let's say I cannot go back and do my, let's say, I'll take my example, right? Let's say today I am a data scientist actually, and let's say I want to switch and I want to become, let's say, a metaverse engineer, right? I want to become a blockchain engineer or any other engineer, right? What will I do? Will I go back to college, spend 4 years there, take a loan, go to colleges and be there? No, that's what not I will do, right? And thanks to software engineers only, who have made these educational, let's say, programs, who have made these, let's say, educational websites where I can be there and I can learn the exact same thing that, the exact same thing that I can go in college, right, and spend 4 years. The same, I can just sit at my home, relax at my home, and I can study the same thing at my home also. And who should I thank to? Again, software engineers who have built those kinds of platforms over there. So, okay, so let's come back. And let's talk about it. Okay, so what is that, that I should do? Let's say I am a blockchain engineer. What should I do? First of all, I will read about it. Until and unless I don't have a knowledge, nobody else can give me. Right? If you think that, you want to blindly, let's say, hold someone's hand and they will teach you software engineering, the answer is no. You can never do that. None. If let's say if anybody is claiming to you that they can make you 90 days a software engineer, 90 days, and you just have to whatever they are letting you learn it and then you learn. No, the answer is no. Until and unless you start mentally preparing yourself, right? That what you need to do, until unless nobody can walk you through. So let's say you have mentally prepared yourself, and let's say you want to become, let's change the topic, right? Because blockchain is a little bigger one. So let's take a different one. Let's say you want to become a app engineer. Let's say you really like your phone, your iPhone, and you're very fantasized about this, apps that they've made, right? These LinkedIn app, this Reddit app. So how these apps are made, let's say you love this thing, right? And you want to make your own app. What will you do? First of all, you will go and Google this thing. Yes, yes, yes. First of all, you will go and you'll understand yourself that what is the thing that is required to do, right? You need to understand your own path, my friend, right? You want to learn, let's say, websites, go and read about websites and start very basic. You don't need to do anything. Just read. Just read. That's it. Just read. Don't do any start the training or something. No, just go and read about the stuff first of all, right? Acquire the knowledge. Once you'll acquire the knowledge, you will see that majority of the technology that we do today, let's say building a website, or let's say building an app, or let's say any kind of a fancy, let's say, machine learning model, you will see that the first thing that you have to learn is called as a programming language. When you'll go and you'll see, right, you'll see that you have to learn a programming language. Now, what is programming language? You'll say, I know only one language. That's one is either my regional language and one is this, second is this English language. What is this programming language? Programming language, my friends, is the language that you will speak to your computers. Your computers that display the website, that display your mobile phones, that display the app. But who is asking them to display them at a certain level, right? Why is the color of Instagram red and yellow, and why is the color of Facebook blue? Who is telling them all these things? There is a software engineer in the background who is talking to these servers, right? Whenever you go and you pop up a website, let's say you go and open up yahoo.com, who is opening up this website, right? Who is opening up this, in front of you? Who is doing all these things? There is a software engineer in the background who has told the servers that, see, you have to display this thing, right? So you need to understand how to talk to computers, and to talking to computers, to communicate with computers, you need to learn a programming language. Now there are multiple programming languages. C, C++, C Sharp. I told you my time language is Fortran, Pascal. So Ruby, Java, you can see here, some are written here also. So I know now you are confused again. You will say, there are so many languages with which I can talk to my computer. Yes. If you are staying on Earth, right? There's so many languages that people are talking. People are talking Russian, people are talking Mandarin, people are talking Hindi, people are talking Hebrew, multiple, right? Any area that you go, right, the language change. Similarly, in programming also, my friends, the field that you choose, according to that, there will be a language for that, right? So you want to go for web, it's going to be different. If you want to go for apps, it's going to be different. If you want to go to, let's say, machine learning and data sciences, it's going to be different. If you want to go for metaverse and let's say you want to make these 3D animations, it's going to be different, right? Exactly like how the earth, how let's say the humans are working on the globe, right? Similarly that way. If you go to Israel, you have to speak Hebrew only, right? If you go to China mainland, you have to be the mainland Chinese language, right? Mandarin over there. Correct? So that's exactly how the field also works on programming languages. You have to pick up your field and then the language will be there. Now you will say, Shivam, who is going to tell us? Your reading is going to help you, right? Let's say you want to pick up and let's say you want to make this apps only. Again, let's say you want to make iOS apps. So for iOS apps, you need to learn a programming language that can help you make, let's say, communicate with your iPhone, right? A language with you and your iPhone both can speak, correct? And that language is programming language. And for iPhone phone developments, if you want to make Android, that is Java. And if you want to, let's say, talk to your iOS, then this is the C#. Sir, day by day is developing programming languages. Yes, programming languages, they keep on making, yes. And the old one gets retired. I was telling you my languages, right? Fortran, Pascal, they're not on this page. They have not even written over here, right? Because those are old and they get waived off. Every day new programming languages are coming up, my friends, and they have ultimate uses also. I'll tell you more in detail, right? I'll tell you more in detail. But for now, let's say we understand that we have to start learning a language over there. And don't think that you have to learn all the languages. No. Today, wherever you live, are you learning everything? Are you learning, let's say, Spanish, or are you learning French, or are you learning German? No, because that is not required for you. Similarly, when you'll go into your domain, you learn your language only, not everybody else's language. I have seen some kids, what they'll do is they'll start learning Java, Ruby, Python, and everything they'll do. And they'll mix up everything. Don't do that, right? Focus on one, make a master of one, become a master of one. So I started my career as a Fortran, right? I started Fortran, then I switched to C++, and then I became Python. Now Python is my strongest area. I can do almost anything with Python. But I know other languages also, I know Golang, I know Scala, right? I know Julia. So I know other languages also later in the age. For you guys, it should be one language at a time. Correct? Now, what are the places? There are multiple places. There are multiple platforms where you can go and learn those languages, and these platforms are very interactive. Interactive means that they're not just teaching you boring. No, they are teaching you and they're helping you learn also. So they'll tell you that, let's say, do the practical now, do the hands-on now. And until and unless you crack the hands-on, you cannot go and learn from it, right? One of our friends says that you learn after that new programming language day by day. You can do either. Yeah, exactly. But I would say your motto should not be to learn everything. That is what I'm trying to say, right? Generally, I have seen kids, right? I teach a lot of university kids. They have the habit of learning everything. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Stick to one, become the master of one, right? And then you can, once you have mastered one, then you can switch to others also. Correct. HackerRank being one of the platform where you can go and learn there. Stack Overflow, that's my favorite. That's my favorite platform. So Stack Overflow is not a platform where you can go and it is going to teach you. No, it's actually your question and answer kind of a platform. Now you will say, Shivam, how can one learn from a question and answer platform? No, actually one can learn. I'll tell you my personal journey. And Stack Overflow came into picture, right? I was a very new buddy there, and I think I started my Python at that time when Stack Overflow came in. So I'm older than Stack Overflow. So when Stack Overflow came in, I was learning Python, and I said, I'll do one thing. I will put my questions over there, and I used to get help from people. And that time, internet did not have so many blogs and journals over there. There was this Q&A website. I would go and put up my questions over there, and people used to answer me, and I used to learn from those experiences. And sometimes I had a working code, but still I would ask the question that, am I doing it in the right way? Is there other way to do this thing? And people from all over the world, right? And some experienced people, they would say, Are Shivam, you have done this wrong. See, if you do this, it becomes more optimized. And slowly I started learning from experienced people outside the world. So Stack Overflow, that's the first phase. In the phase one, when I was, let's say, asking questions, right? And I was learning. Then after a period of time, I switched myself. Until today, it's my habit that I have to answer at least one question on Stack Overflow. Every day I answer at least one question. Now you will say, Shivam, what is happening when you go and answer one question? Actually, there are certain times where where the question is so difficult that I cannot answer. I really don't know what the answer is. So what I'll do, I'll Google it up, I'll try it myself, I'll just do figuring out, and then I learn it up there. I say, okay, I learned one thing, and then I answer that it back, right? So Stack Overflow is a very, very, very good platform. I really recommend it to people out there. Correct. Then yes, once you have learned my friends, once you have learned your, let's say, programming language, now what do you do? So, similar to your language, let's say once you learn English, what do you do? Can you communicate with everyone? No, you have just learned how to speak and, let's say, even read, right? You need to now write it in a very correct way. You learn the grammar, right? Remember, at the very starting, they teach you alphabets, A, B, C, D. Then they start teaching you words, sentences, and then they teach you grammar, that how to form that, let's say, sentence, right? This is exactly what the next phase in software engineering is, my friend, that, okay, you have learned programming language, but how to write it very efficiently, That is called as data structures and data algorithms. Very fantastic topics, very interesting topics, and very logical topics. These are not theoretical topics that these are very mental ability topics over here, right? You learn how to solve the problems in a very minimum manner, right? In a very minimalistic way and in an optimistic way. So data structures, you learn how to make structures, right? How to make the grammar, right? And in algorithms, you'll learn that there are certain optimization algorithms which will make your life much more easier. Is data structure programming language or not? No. So is grammar a language? No, grammar is not a language, right? Similarly, data structure is not a language. No, it's not a language. Correct? Okay. Then you enhance your skill. I would say that, see, there's one thing which is not written here, that, once you need to learn one more thing. You're learning programming languages, very good. You're doing HackerRank, very good. Stack Overflow, data science, structures and algorithms. The third thing that I would add over here is, communication skills. For a software engineer, it is very important to communicate what he or she has written. See, you made a very fantastic app, right? A very fantastic mind-boggling app that you have made. But if you don't know how to tell it to other people that you have made it, it's useless, right? Because it is on your phone only. A software engineer should also be a very good orator, right? A very good communicator. He should know how to sell his own code also. But I think I learned the hard way, right? So this is like a very interpersonal skill. You need to learn how to communicate your things in a very efficient way. Correct? The next thing is design and building softwares and projects. I think this is a little more advanced that we're going on now. Once we have learned, let's say, the language, once we have learned the grammar now, then I'm asking you to writing books also, right? It means that first you learn how to speak and write, then you learn grammar, and now you're so advanced that you can now write books also. That is what exactly designing and building software engineering projects is. That once you have, let's say, learned, let's say, Python or let's say some other language, right? Now you will use that particular knowledge to build some projects, right? To build some things. And it is, believe me, it is very easy. It sounds very typical. It sounds very heavy. It sounds very expensive, but no, it's not. It's very easy. I'm telling you, when you'll go out, when you'll write your first code, the joy that you will have, my friends, is unmeasurable. There's no measure, right? One of my friends says that I am just in 12th grade now. Is this a program applicable for me? Why not? I would say, why not? 12th is already, you have crossed, my friend. I'll tell you, in US, I mean, I am now in India right now, but when I was in US, right, my friends, their son was taught Python when he was in his 6th grade. 6th grade, just imagine. And recently he told me that his daughter, who is in just 3rd grade, they're teaching her also programming language in a very, but in a very kid way, right? In a very interactive way, like with kids and toys, just in 3rd grade. 3rd grade means she's not even 7 years of age, right? Or even, yeah, not even 7 years of age. And they're teaching her how to, let's say, start programming with building blocks, and very in a kid manner, they're teaching her. So 12th standard, you are already at a very good pace, my friend. You should start learning now also. Yes, I would say yes. The answer is yes. And then once you have learned everything and done everything, then what to do next, right? Here it says internship. I would say do one thing. Once you have learned that a programming language is there, once you have built something, showcase it to people. Show it to people. You would say, how can I show my code to people? I mean, will I stand in my house and I'll cry that, hey, see, I have made a code? No, there are multiple ways to do that. First way is LinkedIn. You make a project and you publish it on LinkedIn and you say, hey, people, I just made this very fantastic app which can do blah, 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 blah. Second way, you can do the same thing on something called as GitHub. Now, a GitHub is nothing but, let's say, think of it as an online resume. It's like an online resume where I can, let's say, double click inside each of your project and I actually can see the code also. Think of it like that, right? So you can make up your GitHub profile also. First is LinkedIn. Second is your GitHub. And then third is there are multiple platforms like HackerRank. HackerRank, then you have top coders, you have APMC competitions. where you can go there. Today's human resource HR people are not, those old people who are sitting on desk and you are sending them resumes. No, they're very smart. They're going to these competitions online now, and they're seeing who are winning it, who are losing it, who are first, second, third, fourth, and then they're hiring for companies. So if you sit at your home, you don't need to shout that I've made an app, but yes, you can shout at the internet also. LinkedIn, GitHub, these competition websites, you can go there and broadcast that I just made it. And believe me, people reply. Correct. Then what are your roles and responsibilities? Roles and responsibilities, as I told you, right? You will have to go there. Sir, I want to pursue BTech AI in IIT. Will there be a future preference for this particular course? Yes, definitely. There will be. There will be. And again, see, I'm saying don't be dependent on somebody to teach you. Don't be dependent. I am telling you that 60% of the people are not from computer science background or IT background, right? Selfly, you can do all these things. Okay, so roles and responsibilities, I'll tell you. See now. Now see, when you are building let's say a website, right? Let's take a very simple example. So you just see the front end, right? You just see that, okay, this is written here, files, editing, and then this blah, 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 blah. What happens when you click on this, let's say save as Google Slides. Let's say what will happen here? You know what is happening? There is a request that goes to Google server. I'll explain it to you, right? I'll explain it to you in a very simple term. See here. This is your browser screen that you see, right? This is your monitor on which you see the websites. This is called as the front end. This is the thing that you see, front end. This is the fancy stuff, all the coloring and all these things, all these push buttons are all over here. You can see these buttons and all these things. But when you actually click on something, right, there is a request that is sent to a server, the main Google server, where all these things are happening. There's a main Google server over there, and there that is called as the back end, right? So front end is there, back end is there. Then there is a database also. What is a database? Database is actually a system which is storing information for you. When you open up Facebook every day, everything is like that only, right? I mean, your profile picture is as it is, all the stored information are as it is over there, right? Because they are stored inside a database. And every day when you open up your Facebook or your Instagram, all the things are reflected back to you as it is, right? Because they are stored in a database. So backend is there, front end is there, a database is there, and then there are multiple things, but I'm telling you some small, let's say major things. I'm telling you the major things over there. Then there is a person who's responsible for, let's say, who's designing these things, UX person. It means that who is telling them that, okay, the button should be here, or let's say that this cut button should be here, or the paste button should be here. This person is called as UX designer. Okay. UX designer is user experience designer, somebody who sits with the end people and they understand that, okay, what is the let's say humans want, what do the users want actually, right? And how can their experience be made more better, and how can their experience be made more enriching for them, right? That's the UX thing. So you can see here, this is a typical let's say jobs, roles and responsibility written over here, and you can see they're asking for a language over there. They're asking for data structures and algorithm that we already studied. Then they're asking for SQL. SQL is database. I told you there's a database. They require database. And then for everything, there is I don't want to, let's say, put a lot of things over there, but if you want to become a front-end engineer, you need to learn something called as HTML. You need to learn something called as CSS. You need to learn something called as Angular. Right. If you want to become a backend engineer, then you want to learn Java as a, let's say, your language, or Python as your language. Then you need to learn, let's say, some kind of, let's say, queuing mechanism, right? What is a queue? How to maintain a queue, right? You should know how to maintain a database shardings, database, all these things. So don't get, let's say, I don't want to overwhelm you with all these things, but yeah, just think of it that there are multiple fields in which you can go there and can have your world established over there. What is the difference between front end and back end? Front end, back end, I just told you, my friend. See here, this thing that you see, the look and feel that you see, that is called as the front end, right? There are front end engineers who will design all these things, and then there are back end engineers also. Back end engineers are the one who are implementing the logic. See, this is a pencil button over there that you see, right? A pencil icon over here. So this pencil icon was put up by a front-end engineer. But when I select, let's say, this pencil icon, and when I select this red color, it starts giving me red colored pen over there. Who's doing all these things? The logic is implemented by the back-end engineers. Correct? That is the difference between front-end and back-end over there. See here, see over here, things have come up: front-end engineer, back-end engineer, full stack engineer. Full stack means somebody who knows both front-end and back-end. That is called as full stack engineer. Then you have software engineer in test. Software engineer in test means that, see, not everybody is building. Some people are required for quality controlling also, right? You made a bridge, very fantastic, but who is going to test the bridge, right? Somebody should also do a quality assessment. So there are some software engineers who are required in testing domain also. So they would, let's say, test this application, right? At a multiple levels, they would test the application. Then you have DevOps engineers, security engineers, so that nobody can hack your website, right? There is no vulnerability in the website. So there are multiple things, and still you don't have UX over here. UI engineers are required over here. Multiple other database engineers are required over here. There are people who would, there are project managers who are required over here. So multiple fields are there, my friend. It's your responsibility first to check out at what domain excites you the most, right? Now, companies hiring, this is called as generally as a FANG, as you all might know. FANG means Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. FANG is the, how do I say, the tier 1 of tech companies. This is called as FANG. And then they have put up some numbers over here for highest paying in software engineering. Tower Research is one of the highest paid, is the highest paying companies, and that is for the quant role that they have. And they pay to people for 30 to 20 lakhs. And then you have Flipkart, Dshaw, Zomato, Salesforce, Oracle, Walmart. The point here is that every domain that you think of finance, JP Morgan is there. You think of e-commerce, Walmart is there. You think of any other thing, that company is here, right? PayPal for finance again, Sapient for service-based industries, Microsoft for, let's say, software development, Samsung for hardware development, Dell for again for hardware development, Juniper Networks, Cisco again for hardware development, GE Healthcare is for healthcare. So just think of your domain and think of the area. That's it. Once you have these things, these are just numbers over here. I can tell you, you can earn much more than this thing, right? And the Indian ecosystem is thriving. It is bulging like anything, right? So now, how do you start? Fantastic ways. There are multiple ways to start, right? First is read about your domain, right? In which domain you want to stick, and then the area. These two things, right? And then there are multiple blogs, and one of the blogs being Intellipaat blogs. You can go to the Intellipaat's YouTube channel and you can read about them. They have some very fantastic, let's say, videos over there, and very long videos over there where you can sit and learn continuously. They have over there. And if you need any kind of, let's say, help from us, we are anyways here. Just a very simple email at support@intellipaat.com would be enough for us. Drop us an email. We have a 24/7 chat on our website also. Go there, have it. Right. One of our friends says that I have 15 years of mechanical field experience. Can I switch to my field with this experience? Definitely. How can I prepare myself for changing the field to data science? Can I get a job in software without compromising much on earning? Okay, very good. So the question is, and this is the very generic question that I get, right? I am in a non-tech background. My friend says that he's in a mechanical field background, and the experience is humongous, 15 years of experience, and they want to switch to data science now. Now, see, it's a very simple question. There are two things in front of you, my friend. How I answer is this thing is, see, option one is that you quit everything that you have, right? You quit everything that you have and you start from your basics. You start learning software engineering, and then you go on the top, then you apply for a job, then you fail, then you get again, then you get a job, and then you keep on climbing. That's the option one. I'll give you option two. I would say be in your domain of mechanics only. There are multiple companies in mechanical field also. I'll take an example of automobile. Let's say, take an example for automobile field, right? Let's say you are in automobile area, and let's say you are somewhat, let's say, senior automobile engineer over there, right? Now, I would say search for opportunities inside your domain itself first, because you have 15 years of experience. Why do you want to waste that thing? Don't waste that experience. Utilize that thing and bring it. And if you don't believe me, just do a simple Google search. Let's say data, or let's say analytics in automobile. If you just simply do this thing, right? See, I am not even typing. I didn't even press enter, and you can see here, my friend, the the auto help already is helping me that there's analytics, and there's business analytics, and there's big data. I would say stick to your job of mechanics, right? But start learning things which are very close to you, right? Start with your data science career. You specifically, my friend specifically asked for data science, so I'm telling for data science. Start learning data science, but always make sure that you are including automobile over there, right? Make sure, stick inside your company. If your company gives you a chance to change, very good. If it does not give, then you can switch to other also. But I always recommend people that switching inside a company is still easier as compared to convincing someone who has never seen you that I know all these things, right? That is my thing. And I can give you a very good example, my friends. One of the lady after COVID, she joined my batch for data science, right? And she said that, Shivam, I'm learning just for fun because I have a lot of time. And she was a HR in a very big company, like a huge tech company. And she learned data science. Now, after the course, she said to me that, Shivam, what should I do now? I have learned all these things. Now, what should I do? I said, now go and implement. She said that, okay, I have learned, but I don't know this finance. I don't know what is marketing and sales. So what should I do? I said, who is asking you to do it in finance? Do in your HR only. And you won't believe, she made a machine learning model which could retain people. What does this mean? See, in every company, people think of leaving the company, right? And going outside of the company. And people cannot predict this thing, right? You cannot stare in their eyes and think, this person is going to leave the firm, right? But she made a machine learning model which would gather the inputs of the employees, and she could tell with a 87% precision that this person is going to leave in next 3 months. She made this very fantastic model, showed it to her company. Her company was very, very, very uh, flabbergasted with that model, and they appointed her as the chief data scientist, as a not a chief data scientist, but let's say as a chief scientist in HR orgs. So inside HR, they opened up an analytics division, and they made her the manager over there. Right? That's the point over here. One of my friends says that, do you teach data science course? If yes, which course? Please mention that also. I teach, so I lead the artificial intelligence and machine learning Python courses here at Intellipaat. Any day, if you have any questions, just drop to us at support@intellipaat.com. We'll be happy to have it here. I'm about to take AI separately as a course with BTech, which is better, data science or AI. So see, that's a different topic, Rahul, and I can talk about it more, but I'll give you a very simple area. See, AI is a very big umbrella, right? AI is a very big umbrella, and data science is like this part, right? Some of it is overlapping, some of it is not overlapping. Just think of it like this, right? So yes, but let's come back to our topic, right? And this is what I had for you today to software engineering. And I can say one thing for you: the journey is going to be difficult. See, it's not a very easy thing that you'll learn something one day and second day you'll get. No, it's going to be difficult, but I can promise you one thing: it's going to be very interesting. The joy that you get when you write your first code, when it runs, your first project, not just first project, right? Every project, and when you see that you're solving problems, right, and the impact that you have on people, that will give you a next level of satisfaction in your life. I mean, I made a code for a South African company, right? I know that that my code was helping people to get food over there, right? So that's the thing I would say. Journey is not easy, right? But it's not impossible. Also, journey is but it's very interesting, right? So climb on this journey. Don't wait for anything to disbelieve you. Have your belief. You have already taken first step. Now take the second one and start jumping inside it, right? I won't kill much of it. Okay. Okay, if you have any questions in the for regarding this thing, post it up. I'll try to answer. Skills that are necessary like Python. See, again, I told you, right? For like, let's say if you want to live in Israel, will you learn Chinese? No, right? You learn Hebrew over there. That's the main point, my friend. If you tell me what domain you are looking for, let's say, or what, let's say, industry you're targeting. Let's say you say, I want to make websites, or I want to make apps, I want to make blockchains, I want to make data science engineer. What you want to make, then I can tell you what are the skills required. But for you right now, as a software engineer, one programming language is required, right? And now because you have brought up Python name over there, right? I would say yes, Python is one of the answers that people generally give to you. And I would also recommend Python. Why? Because see, Python has a very easy syntax to learn, right? It is very easier to understand Python. It's very easier to learn Python. That's the most simplest thing that I have always heard, and I have always taught also that Python has a very and see, I'm not just saying this on behalf of because I know Python, right? No, because MIT teaches Python to kids now through a program called a Scratch, and they learned this thing that Python's grasping capabilities is very good, right? And kids can grasp Python very easily. So if kids can, we can learn this Python also over there. So Python is going to be a very good starter for you. Those of you who are thinking which language, I would say go for Python. But again, it is all up to you. Some people might say that I want to go for C++. Go for it. That's also a good thing. I would never hesitantly stop you. Next question says, GitHub and Stack Overflow just helps you to post our codes and ask help from experts, but our queries regarding our project and other. No. People will help you with queries only, my friend. On Stack Overflow, people will help you on queries only, my friend, over there. Yeah, on Stack Overflow, that's a question and answer platform, right? People will ask, you will ask questions over there and they will help you with answers. What about GitHub? GitHub is more of like your online resume. It's more of like your online resume um, where you can ask your you can put up your projects over there and tell to people that, see, this is the project I've made, and see, I can do all these things. It's more of like your online interactive resume. Okay. Sir, will it add up to our profile in future uses? Yes, definitely. It will add up to your profile. I would say make a GitHub profile today only. At least start getting up to things, what is there or not. Now, at least you should have on Stack Overflow, GitHub. I'll write it in chat so that you can have a GitHub, Stack Overflow, right? These two things. And LinkedIn. Okay, one of my friends is asking, what is that LinkedIn? LinkedIn. Three things. You should definitely have your profile on. How to start a career as a software engineer. I think that was the session, right? That was the complete session that I took, right? This session. How to start a career. Let's say first learn the things and then tell people that you know, and then they'll hire you. I mean, if you're asking something specific. Okay. I actually, I mean, yeah. From my side, the session is over, but actually I'm waiting for somebody to help you with the portal, but just give me 1 minute, right? I'll call them also.
Hello everyone, this is Rudrani this side. I'm the Senior Course Advisor at Intellipaat. I would be helping you out with all the details of the course of Software Engineering and Application Development that Intellipaat provides. I'll go ahead and tell you of all the details, and then in the end we would be open to questions if you have any doubts. And I will also be giving you my contact details if in case you want to connect with me in order to enroll for this program. So basically, this particular program in software engineering and application development is provided in partnership with E&ICT Academy of IIT Guwahati. So there are three things that are going to be coming out of that. Firstly, the entire course curriculum is designed and developed by E&ICT IIT Guwahati, keeping it at par with the international standards of what you need to know in software engineering and application development. Secondly, you will be trained by instructors from IIT Guwahati. So they are professors from IIT Guwahati, as well as industry experts holding 15 plus years of experience, themselves working as software engineers in MNCs. Why a combination of these instructors are kept is because we are going to be focusing equally on both the practical front and the theoretical front of this particular domain. Thirdly, you will be getting an advanced certification in software engineering and application development. This is what it would represent. Give me 1 second. So this certificate is going to be valid for a duration of lifetime. It is valid through all top organizations in India and abroad and is going to be recognized as a professional certificate throughout. Now, the entire curriculum is laid out in such a manner that we will be taking you from the very basics to the advanced level concepts of this domain. So there is absolutely no prerequisite as of such that we would want you to have before you take this program, as everything is covered from scratch, and in a very, very phased manner, we will be taking you to the advanced level concepts. So module 1 would be covering all the basic pre-work where we would be introducing you to Python and Linux. We will be helping you with the environmental setup, the essentials, basic constructs and everything. Then we will be going ahead with the application development process, then OOPS concept, so object-oriented programming language concepts, then data structures and algorithms, database design and querying, advanced data structures, solving top product company questions. So we will be considering all the top MNCs like Amazon, Google, and we would be solving top product questions from these companies. Product management, a capstone project wherein you would be designing the high level and low level system design. And then you have to choose, post the completion of module 9, you will have to choose one of the specializations to go along with your software engineering profile. Now, this can be a backend specialization, it can be a full stack specialization, it can be cloud computing and DevOps, it can be data science, or it can be cybersecurity. Throughout the program, you will be working on a lot of industry specific real-time live projects, all of which are going to ensure that whatever knowledge we are delivering, you can practically implement it. And also, because they are industry specific projects, when you put it onto your portfolio, it will be equivalent to an industry experience to be held onto your portfolio. If you're someone who is looking for a transition into this domain or starting a new career or having an organizational shift, so that is the first priority that the recruiters are going to keep, because of which all of these projects that you would be working on are all industry specific projects to help you out with a good industry exposure that you can portray onto your portfolio. So we will be taking you from beginner level projects to intermediate and advanced. Now, coming to what services are you going to be getting as a part of this program? So this is entirely going to be applied learning, 600 hours of applied learning, meaning the entire delivery of the concepts is going to be in such a manner that you would be able to apply it into any business domain that you are working with. Now, these are entirely going to be live interactive sessions with the instructors stretched across a period of 9 months. All of these live sessions are going to be recorded and put in your learning management system, the access to which you will have for a duration of lifetime. As I said, you would be learning from industry practitioners as well as mentored by IIT Guwahati faculties. A very, very good practical exposure would be given through 50 plus industry specific projects and case studies from all different domains that are out there. Regularly, you will be having one-on-one with industry mentors. So it will promise you the personal attention that you require when you are taking the learning path. You will be having one-on-one sessions with the mentors regularly throughout the duration of 9 months. Career services is a very, very lucrative service that we provide, which helps us students to get very easy transitions into different domains or even start their careers. So it is a 5-step process that we follow. The first step is, as soon as you reach 70% of the completion of the course, we will be assigning you a professional team who expertises in portfolio building. Now, this team would entirely be working on your CV, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and all the other official profiles that you hold in the industry, as to make it very, very noticeable to the recruiters and the professional community, and also make it look very heavy on software engineering, on all the aspects of software engineering. So that is going to be your entire portfolio optimization according to industry standards. Once that is done, we will be assigning you a team of training and placement officers who would be entirely responsible in communicating with you that if you're going ahead with the placements, what are your expectations and requirements out of it. So is that a particular location that you're looking at? Is that a firm? Is that a sector? Any specific requirement if you may have, you can convey it to us, so it helps us to segregate the organizations accordingly. Especially if you are a working professional who is looking for a transition, then in that case we will also be discussing your CTC, because after a strong accreditation from E&ICT IIT Guwahati, you can easily expect a minimum salary hike in the range of 55 to 60% on your current salaries. So that is also something we are going to be taking care of. The first steps are basically done by the time you reach the completion of the program. Then we start with the recruitment drive. So regarding the recruitments, we have partnerships and collaborations with around 500 plus reputed multinational companies and tech giants all around the world and throughout India. And as a part of that, we actively will be giving you placements, all of which are inclusively created for Intellipaat students. So you do not have to go ahead and compete with the entire crowd out there. So if I give you a generic example of the kind of companies that come to hire with us, that would be companies like Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, Cisco, Nasdaq, Sony, Ericsson, Dell, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, McKinsey, Shell. So we also maintain the quality of placements from our end. Apart from that, we will also be giving you a job portal. Here throughout the duration of lifetime, you will be able to see all the vacancies as and when they come with our partnered companies. And even you can apply from your end by showing Intellipaat certifications as a verification, post which direct interviews are scheduled for you. For all the interviews that you sit for, we would be end-to-end be training you for the same through various mock interviews, set of questions, salary negotiation skills, soft skills training, and all of that. We will be giving you a guaranteed of minimum 3 interviews with top multinational companies that hire for software engineers and application developers. So end-to-end, this is the service that we provide, which helps our students get very easy transitions and start their careers into different domains, especially in software engineering and application development. The other service that we provide is a 24/7 technical support for a duration of lifetime. So anytime that you have doubts or you're stuck at any particular part of the course, you can directly connect with this team any time of the day or the night that you want, because they are available 24/7 around the clock. And this particular facility extends for a duration of lifetime, meaning that post the completion of the program also, for any doubts that you have related to software engineering and application development, you can directly connect with this team, and it will always be a one-on-one doubt resolution session with them. So either you can call them with your doubts, or you can email them the screenshot to your doubts, or you can even conduct a Google meeting or a Zoom meeting with them. You can share your screen and discuss your doubts with them. Okay, now this particular program is designed for working professionals as well as freshers. So nothing we are demanding in terms of prerequisite for you to be able to join this program, as everything will be covered from scratch, and then we will be taking you to the advanced level concepts. Lastly, there is going to be a 2-day campus immersion at IIT Guwahati. So this is not a compulsion, but this is something that you would be getting as a part of this program. All right. So here you will be physically going to IIT Guwahati, and you will be meeting all of the students who have enrolled for this program. You will be meeting the alumni of IIT Guwahati, as well as the instructors in person. This is going to help you in terms of networking in the industry, and it is also going to help you to expand your professional contacts in this domain, and also for job referrals. All right. So now, apart from that, coming to the, if I give you a little bit of knowledge of IIT Guwahati holds a very good NRIF ranking in the industry, placing it on top of all premier institutes and other IITs. Also holds a very good international ranking as well. The press release is also attached here. So this is going to be a very, very strong accreditation onto your portfolio, which is going to be globally recognized. Now, coming to who is going to be teaching you as a part of this program, of course, IIT Guwahati faculties are going to be there to mentor you throughout the period of 9 months. Then in industry experts, we have Mr. Bhanu Prasad, who is the chief data scientist at nquantum.ai with 4 years of 14 years of experience in data engineering and analytical projects with top MNCs. He has mentored over 1,000 plus technologists across 10 countries and has worked in firms like IBM, AT&T, etc. Then we have Amit Kumar, who is a data scientist at Microsoft with 16 plus years of experience in the same. And of course, there are going to be 2 professors from IIT Guwahati. Now, their LinkedIns are attached here for you to cross verify on their profile as to who is going to be delivering the curriculum to you. Now, coming to this is going to be an application, a peer learning application that you will be getting if you are an Intellipaat student. Here you will be added along with all of your classmates into one group. That is for you to, that is for us to maintain a very collaborative learning and a classroom-like experience throughout. The major announcements will be made there. But this is exhausted in a very, very good manner by all of our students, also for job referrals, because we have a vast community of learners from all different backgrounds and positions in hierarchy. So that is also something you can take an advantage of. Now, the course fee for this particular program is 85,044. There is 18% of GST on top of that, which makes the course fee to 1,351,000. So that is going to be the entire course fee, including all of the services. The classes are only conducted on Saturdays and Sundays on a weekend basis from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the evening. So 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on a Saturday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on a Sunday. All of these sessions again are going to be recorded and put in your learning management system, the access to which you will have for a duration of lifetime. The next cohort that we have is going to start on the 16th of January, which is this Sunday. So now we would be open for any doubts that to be sharing you my contact details. Just give me 1 second. So I'm Rudrani and I am the senior course advisor here at Intellipaat. And this is going to be my contact details. So you can connect, either write to me at rudrani@intellipaat.com or you can WhatsApp me at 80471 85988. And I will be helping you get enrolled in this program. Now, any doubts? We'll wait for another minute for any doubts that you may have. Again, I am posting my contact details on the chat box here. So you can note it down. I am the senior course advisor at Intellipaat and I am directly looking after the enrollments as well. Amit, Amit has a question. What is the appropriate time to call you? Well, you can just drop a text on WhatsApp and we can connect anytime. Normally, I work from 8 to 10. So you can call anytime between that. This, by the way, the number that I sent is also my calling number. So you can directly also call me on that number and I would be available to help you out with your inquiry. All right. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Again, if you have any doubts, do feel free to connect with me over WhatsApp or write to me on rudrani@intellipaat.com. We have Rahul asking which courses rather than AI or data science is most preferred by companies. So, see, software engineering is definitely in trend. Data science, artificial intelligence, cloud computing is again very much in trend. Business intelligence is something is in trend. Core technical, if you're looking for, I'll always suggest you to go ahead with software engineering because there is a huge scope. And if you would have seen in our curriculum as well, data science, cloud, backend, full stack. These are all of the specializations that we have put for someone who is aiming to become a software engineer.
So becoming a software engineer, you can choose this as one of the specializations, and make your career along with. So my first priority is going to stick to software engineering. Now it really depends as to what kind of a career are you looking for yourself, down the lane. Okay. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. It was a pleasure having you all here. And for any doubts, please feel free to connect with me. Have a good evening. Thank you.